a very long time, hey? Like, I haven't been outside in a while. And that's why this weekend for me, the fact that it is my best friend's birthday and I'm looking forward to it. Yo, it's gonna be a beautiful one. We're gonna be speaking to Dr. Jane, and I can't wait because she is the CEO of a Freedom Park. We're gonna be unpacking the Cuito Cuanavale, which is a pivotal moment in the region's liberation history. And a Freedom Park, in partnership with the National Heritage Council, is hosting a commemorative event that goes beyond the remembrance, and it is aiming to spark dialogue on Pan-African solidarity. Interesting. I was having a conversation yesterday with one of my very, very good friends, and we're speaking about geopolitics and the fact that for me, I feel like my role within the media space is to make geopolitics easier to understand. I was one of those learners as a young girl. I was quite neurodivergent, right? And I struggled with a lot of concepts. You know, I didn't really understand a lot of things because people use all these big words. So I'm one of those people, I'm better when I teach myself. And I always made it a point that when I get to a certain point in my life, I will kind of treat people the way I want to be treated and I wanted to be treated. And that's, you know, self-teaching. Like self-paced, like teaching things to people and making things easier to understand, like the likes of geopolitics. If you're telling a 22-year-old about geopolitics, they're like, okay, sure, you're in all the works, but what does that actually mean in context of me living every single day? It means that your petrol is going to go up. It means that the food is going to go up. The likes of cheese, something like cheese and eggs, those are things that we usually import. And those are things that we, you know, kind of invest a lot of money into importing. And then looking at how that works with intra-Africa trade and how we could actually be self-sustaining as a continent. But if you're just going to say that geopolitics, oh, Sana, people who don't necessarily understand the political world won't really relate to it. So we need to help them understand these things. I'm also just treating people the way I wanted to be treated. 7:20 Central African time.
Africa is changing, and the world is paying attention. This March, Channel Africa invites you to be part of a new conversation. Africa Matters. A platform where experts, policymakers, and thought leaders come together to unpack the big issues of our time: technology, politics, economics, climate change, and the future of our people. This is where ideas meet action, where change becomes opportunity, where Africa's voice takes its rightful place on the global stage. In March 2026, Channel Africa hosts Africa Climate Change Recovery Summit. Join the dialogue. Be part of the movement. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Your life, your rhythm, your Africa. Channel Africa. Find it for free on Google Play and the Apple App Store. From 6 till 9 a.m. Central African Time on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
7:22 Central African time. Welcome back to it. We are having conversations about, what I feel like we are entering a very, very busy season. And one of those seasons is where we commemorate a number of events that are taking place. And I think it's important for us to know our history, to know what is going on in the country, in the continent. And one of those things is South Africa is marking the International Day of Reflection on the Battle of Cuito Cuanavale, which is a pivotal moment in the region's liberation history Freedom Park. And it's also in partnership with the National Heritage Council, and it's hosting a commemorative event that goes beyond remembrance. It aims to spark a dialogue on Pan-African solidarity, the role of international allies in South Africa, South Africa's freedom, and the country's present-day social cohesion. We are now joined by the CEO of Freedom Park, Dr. Jane Mufamadi. Let me tell you something. If there's something I love more than my education is when I hear a prefix before a woman's name. Dr. Professor. My type zam. Dr. Jane, good morning.
Good morning, and how are you?
We fave, son. We fave. Yeah, when I hear doctor, before a woman's name. There's something that happens in me as a young woman. I don't know if you are waking up the ancestors of an educated lineage. I don't know. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. So let's talk about this. I mean, why does the battle matter so much? Why does it remain a defining moment in Southern Africa's history? We sometimes take advantage of the things that we know, thinking that everyone knows the commemoration of such events. So talk to us about this.
Yeah, indeed. This Battle of Cuito Cuanavale, primarily it's regarded as the turning point in the struggle against apartheid and colonial domination, particularly not just in South Africa, but in Southern Africa, because it really symbolized the collective resistance of Angola, Cuba, the liberation forces from Southern Africa, and of course, with the support of Russia at the time, the Soviet Russia. And it is the outcome of this battle that helped shift the balance of forces and contributed not to primarily to Namibia's independence and also ushered in the transition to democracy in South Africa. So I think this is very critical for us as Southern Africa and also in particular as South Africa. What one can also say about this is that this battle really symbolized a rupture, and it because it really disrupted the momentum of at the time apartheid SADF, their dominance in the region, their aggression, and not just to South Africans but to Southern Africa, to those who were supporting, those who were fighting for liberation. So really, this battle brought this to the abrupt end, and hence then ushering this breakthrough for Namibia and for South Africa. So it's very important for us to know and understand that. But through this commemoration, we also then must appreciate and acknowledge the support that South Africa received, to remember that the freedom we enjoy today, it did not come free. People sacrificed their lives, but also to acknowledge and appreciate the solidarity, the support that we received from many communities, from the Cubans, from the Russians, from the Angolans, and Southern Africa in general. And this was a culmination. We owe our freedom, our democracy to battles like this. And of course, there are many more. So this is very important, especially for young people to understand where we come from as a nation.
You know, Dr. Jane, my heart bleeds when I see xenophobia. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you speak about how this moment, this moment where predominantly African countries kind of took to, kind of turned the tides of our struggle. And when I see xenophobia, it really is indicative of how we do not know our past. When you think about the fact that 1 year into Angola's independence, they took in Umkhonto we Sizwe soldiers. In fact, not even soldiers. They took in teenagers from Soweto into exile. How many people were raised in Angola because that was the only country that was allowing us in, the likes of Tanzania, the likes of Cuba. So sometimes when you see xenophobia taking place, it really shows us how little we know about our history, that now when we are taking in people, to try and house them, or them trying to make a better life, and we are telling them to go back to where they come from, imagine if we got the same treatment back then.
Indeed, it's sad. If, as you say, we had received the same treatment back then, we probably would not be free today.
Yeah.
It's sad. And yes, we are not saying there were not challenges, but these countries opened themselves and received South Africans who were in need. And you are right. If you look at the history and the participants in the liberation struggle, some joined the struggle as young as the age of 14, 16. These were literally children, kids, who took up arms so that we can be free. And these are some of the individuals who were welcomed by countries like Angola, as you say, Tanzania and Zambia. Tanzania literally had a government. South Africans who were there had all departments and support. Same in Angola. If you go to Angola today, there are no less than 400 graves of South Africans who died, who were there. And these are some of the remains that we are trying to work through the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture to bring back home. You will recall that last year we brought back the remains from Zambia and Zimbabwe, and there are many more out there in Botswana, you name it. So when we don't understand where we come from, we then miss this appreciation and acknowledgement that it is important to support each other. We were supported so that we are free. And that appreciation and that care for one another as humanity, as Africans. But I think overall, to say when communities, when countries are going through conflicts, we need to support each other. But also because, as you said earlier in your intro, when wars happened, you can't say it's not in my borders, it's not in my country. The ripple effect of that is felt. Now we're talking about petrol increase and many other items that will get very expensive because of wars fought far away. So sometimes that is why it is important to support each other in the quest for building peace, in the quest of ensuring full freedom and democracy across the world, because the world is an interconnected web. And it is through these commemorations that we need to pause and reflect of where we come from. We need to re-educate ourselves to understand basically the context.
I think it's also important to who Hector Peterson was. Of our history. Use a program illustrate that.
I think in people can learn about this. We have learned about other people about these things, especially to our younger generations. They don't. You also know about Solomon Mahlangu, liberated by young people. So we participating in the education at a price. Blood was shed. And the younger people, they're popularizing to build a cadre. This program is divided into event where we will be Africa represented by our deputy minister. These embassies sharing their messages of support, telling us what happened, preserve this memory.
People who were there, so
there will be a colonel from Angola, but Foundation based in Angola, they who played a pivotal role in honor, and also we will have a colonel about this battle, and popularly known as the SADC Liberation Day. Two-part program,
amazing.
9 to 10 will commence.
Amazing stuff, Dr. Jane. Still open, if not the Southern Africans. Amazing stuff. Thank you so much for your time today. In our region's liberation history. when I think about the treaty that was signed by and we all came together, they all signed a treaty to kind of with you guys. We're actually not going to continue. That's what geopolitics. We cannot take it for or rather the like Europe or a country. I know that us the worst, absolute worst time right here on the Oasis.